you do with your Tacoma spare tire carrier if you're not carrying a spare? Well, good morning everybody, and how are you today? Pretty good here, and I was just thinking, you know, what do you do with the Tacoma spare tire carrier if you're not carrying a spare around, right? And of course, what I'm talking about is this thing that you see dangling right down there. You know, recently I did a video where I took the spare off because I have the spare up here, right? So I didn't need to have that spare on the bottom of the truck anymore. But now we have the spare tire carrier, as I crawl under here, dangling around down here. And it has the little device right up here, and you can see the chain comes off the other side there. So when you raise this all the way up, hopefully, that part will actually come down and will smack against probably the rest of the chain, or maybe the metal work under there, you know, I don't know. So I was kind of wondering, first of all, am I able to pull this thing all the way up and have it firmly against the device up there to secure it so it won't rattle around here, you know, because it's hanging down here. So I am gonna go ahead and crank this thing up and see if we can get it tight up against the device there so that it doesn't dangle around here. And then ultimately I may just remove it all together, but for now, that's what we're going to do. So let me set you guys up. I'll show you how this thing raises, and we'll see if we can get it tight up against there. Okay, that seemed to work pretty well. You guys can see here the holder, the bracket itself is tight up against the assembly here, or the winch, I don't know what you call this thing, the part that raises and lowers the chain. But it's up there tight against it. Now, we have the chain here dangling around. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. I have seen these dangling around, although typically with the end here still on them. So they're usually down here somewhere lower where you can see them behind the truck. But I don't want this chain dangling around down here. I mean, it's going to make noise. It's probably going to make noise with what I'm going to do anyway, but I am going to give it the old try. And I noticed when I was doing this, right up here on the bracket, there's a little hole right here where you can stick something through right there. So, I got one of these little extra clips I happen to have sitting around, and we're going to see, I believe it'll fit in there, and it does. Nice. And then I'm going to just attach the end of the chain here to it. I'll set you guys down to do that because I'll need a couple of hands. And that should then pull this chain up like so that it's not hanging down at least below anything else down here, right? I mean, if anything's going to hit, it's going to be some of these other components down here as opposed to this chain. So let me lay you guys down. We'll see if I can somehow finagle that on there. Hopefully it won't be extremely complicated. I can't imagine it would be. Just going to grab a link of the chain here, and it should fit on there, I think. Oh yeah, pretty easy. That's it. Fortunately for me, truck is nice and clean under here, as I'm sure you guys can see. So that's what we've got. Again, it is going to move around, and I suppose if you were, you know, laying under the truck while I was driving it around, you might actually hear it, you know, bouncing around under there. But it gets it up out of the way, and now, you know, nothing is down here making a bunch of noise or anything on top of that. Now, one other thing I did notice while I was down here, if I was industrious enough, and that's the key there, industrious enough, I could remove the whole tire carrier holder and possibly even mount it up above. It looks like it's just bolted on in a few places here, and then it could be flipped or maybe fastened somehow to the bed rack that I have up above. Now, as I set up here. There we go. Much more comfortable this way. Not something that I'm looking to do right away. If anything, I think I would, as I've mentioned, probably just take the tire holder off and mount that some way to the bed rack up above there, and then put the tire underneath. But it looks like it could be done. It looks like that whole unit could be removed and then somehow mounted upside down, excuse me, underneath the bed rack, and then you'd have the edges that hold the tire in now underneath on that bed rack as well. Who knows? Maybe a future project, we shall see. Anyway, that takes care of the dangling tire carrier that I was a little concerned about. You know, kind of a wacky thing really, but hey, you know, why not go ahead and take care of it? You saw it was pretty simple to do, and I am happy that I was able to pull it all the way up against the unit there and put some force on it, I guess, some tension, so that it's held up against there and isn't going to move around underneath the truck. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this mod. I'd be curious if you'd even be concerned about it. And are you one of those guys or gals out there running around with your spare tire carrier there dangling around under your truck? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you haven't before and you're interested, check out my other channel. It is RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator, actually sitting right up there. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.